how would you like to make your first million? And today we have Alvin Valley with us, and he's joining us from New York, and he has Cuban heritage, same like me. So, woo! Thank you so much for joining the broadcast. And I have that question that we asked already the 500 millionaires we interview in this podcast. What are the 5 steps, Alvin, that you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Hi, how are you? I'm glad that you're having me here. This is really exciting to talk about that, because I feel that a lot of people don't know where to start, right? They have a lot of entrepreneurs. They have they want to do something, but they don't know where to start. And I think where you start is what your strengths are, right? What is it that makes you passionate? Where is there an opportunity for you to make a difference, where you stand out and you're not just another coffee shop down the block, or another, a record store that doesn't sell records. It's like, I think that one of the best things is to find out what's the strength and where is the opportunity. Because the opportunity, and if you bring the expertise into that opportunity, is really what's going to make you succeed. But also, I think the third step would be to stay focused on that one thing, right? Get to be known for that one thing, whatever it is. Don't dilute your product. Don't dilute your vision. Keep it very focused. I learned very quickly, literally on my first year, I made a whole collection of clothing, jackets, pants, dresses, et cetera, et cetera. And I had someone come in and looked at everything and said, like, this looks amazing. She goes, but your pants are incredible. The cut of your pants are amazing. So get rid of everything. I know this is going to hurt your ego, but get rid of everything and just focus on your pants, because you make the best pants in the industry. And I was like, really? But I love my jackets and I love my dresses and I love,
wow, really
design,
powerful.
right? And I listened because I knew that this person had a real clear point of view for me, right? Because you need to also see what people see from the outside. Right? It's not just what you see from the inside. And I removed everything and I just focused. And suddenly I had an empty rack with like 4 pants. And then I said, well, let me just get more colors. And I showed swatches, and every buyer suddenly was like, pants, 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 pants. Years later, I'm known as, years later, the New York Times calls me the king of pants,
Oh, wow. That's an amazing story. Wow.
Well, so that taught me that a lot of times you have to focus on one thing, right? Because a lot of times, it costs money to make a jacket. It costs money. And if people are coming in and they're like, well, and you're showing them all these other things and you're not really showing them where your strengths are at, that's a really clear path. And I've been in business for 30 years. So
wow, in a very complex and competitive industry, yeah.
Correct. And I've sold my company.
An industry, you sold your company? Oh my God.
And so
twice,
exactly. And I bought it back. And so
you bought it back? Oh my God.
Twice.
Wow.
But it's important that I think that entrepreneurs know what their strengths are and to focus on it, right? Because when you start offering too many things, then people don't know what you're best at. And then once you're best at, the fourth step is that once you get there and then you create the customer and that clientele becomes loyal, then you can layer the different products, right? Because your clients. Now you've become a brand, and then that client will then now believe in you to say, okay, you do the best pant, and now I know that the jacket is great too. Now I know. And then you can slowly start building that sort of, multi-tier thing, whatever that is, right? For me, it's as a designer, it's different products. Now I sell leather goods, boots, handbags, et cetera. But my focus is still the pant, and still no one out there is the king of pants. It's just me.
Wow.
So when you say Alvin Valley is the king of pants, do I have to explain to you what I do? No.
It says what it says in the thing.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
This is This is an amazing story, and I hope that all our listeners listen to this twice, because we're gonna bring. And Alvin, I get it that you're so passionate about fashion, but the way you speak like you are an entrepreneur first and the fashion designer after. Let me tell you why. Because in that industry, I have a cousin which is an artist. He paints. He have live in New York also, and this is the issue with this industry. The creator never stop to create. Now, along with this, and you guys are creators. That's your industry that you are. But along with this, you build a big ego, right? I'm doing art. I'm an artist. I don't care what people think. I do whatever I feel, and there is at some point you have to make a decision if this is going to be a hobby for you or if it's going to be a multi-million-dollar business. And you, my friend, you choose to be a millionaire, and you choose to be a successful business, and that's why your product succeed, and that's why the New York Times wrote these articles, okay, in what you specialize. Now, it took a lot. I know, because I've been there. All entrepreneurs, we have ego. Otherwise, we won't be entrepreneurs. We think that we can do better. Okay. Now, it comes to the when you're in business. Okay. One time that you have to surrender that ego and say, okay, let me listen to someone that have experience, and you need to take a tough decision, and that decision is to work with your inner self, and you say, oh my God, all this jacket, all this dress that I create, that I think that they're amazing, but you know what, if I want to drop my ego and think as an entrepreneur and stay on the line so I can grow. So when do you realize that because when I started my first business, I have also a big ego. I started making $1 million. I thought it was a big deal. Everybody had to do what I say, blah, blah, blah. And I realized when I surrendered that ego and I allowed to start to listen to people, one day I arrived to the office and my team told me, Harry, go home. We don't need you anymore. We can grow this company without you, right? So when, Alvin, you decide that ego that we all have, if you surrender to it, it's going to be a better way. And what message you have for your fellow fashion designers that they still have ego-centric and empty pocket? Because I can introduce you lots of them. In London, we have hundreds of those ones.
Oh yeah, no, London is like, well, I heard someone told me very early on that said to me, no ego, amigo.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing.
It's like,
Ooh.
that's like it's an important thing to understand, that a lot of times ego is in the way, right? And the ego is not your amigo, And so I feel that a lot of times you have to learn when to listen, because you don't always have to listen either.
I agree with you.
My biggest mistakes actually has been the best thing that I've done is listening, and the worst thing I've done is listening. Because not everyone that comes into your business or that comes into you and gives you advice knows what they're talking about. And they might be
have to be qualified to give you the advice. I learned this one in the hard way also.
And the thing is it's not that they're not qualified, because a lot of times where you don't trust yourself is because that person is successful, right? A lot of times the people are giving you bad advice is successful people.
Oh, wow.
Because
they want you to fail. Oh my God.
They might be successful in their business, but they're not successful in my business, right? So someone who might be a successful lawyer might not have good advice for me because I'm not practicing law.
Definitely have to be in your industry, yeah.
So you have to walk like a definite line. I always ask advice. Since I was young, I always advise, oh my God, even like investors, right? Like a lot of times you go to an investor, you don't even ask him for money, you ask him for advice. And then you explain to them what you're doing. Oh, who do you have that you could recommend? And then sometimes they're like, well, I could
give you.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're not asking them. So a lot of times you have to, but Advice is very tricky because you got to know when to implement it, and you got to know when to just take it with, what they say, like a grain of salt, right? So a lot of times, my biggest mistakes and my holdbacks are listening to people who I thought, well, they're successful. They know what they're saying. So maybe I should do this. And it actually holds me back. So
Mm-hmm.
you have a real instinct, not ego. It's two different things. Having ego and putting that aside, but having instinct of salesmanship, of business savviness, then go with that instinct, no matter what everybody else is telling you, right? Because that's really what makes you apart from everybody else. So the instinct, sometimes learning to hear your instinct, right? It's much more important than hearing someone else's advice. But you also have to hear everybody's advice, because a lot of times you gotta take like a little bit of this, and you throw into a pot and you make un arroz con pollo, like
So,
for those who don't know, the arroz con pollo is called chicken and rice, right?
chicken
It's
and
like,
rice.
and so I think that a lot of times, you know, you have to listen to your voice too,
Mm,
without the ego, putting the ego aside. And I said, I think the ego is like really, honestly, I work with a lot of people that work with me, and they have to do some things, heavy lifting, et cetera, et cetera. I'm always there because it's
mm,
like, yeah, is it beneath me to do that? I'm a designer, I'm a fashion designer. I don't do that. Like, no, we're a team. This is my business. We're a team. I always try to
Are
show
we
my
doing this together?
we're doing this together. It's like, and so it's important that your team sees you as part of that growing group.
Mm,
And I think, like, well, one of the things that I have today is like an amazing team that really stand out there, and they really make a difference for me because they believe it and they take ownership on it. So that's the next level, I think, when you can bring in a team that also takes ownership
mm,
of the business.
yeah.
You give them that ownership, whether, or give them some like equity in the business,
Mm,
whatever small it is, to
mm.
give them that ownership and to really believe in you. I think that's really important too.
So I mean, but let's face it, you didn't sign up for this. You are a fashion designer. You love your pros. You see that you create, right? But now you realize that as the business grow, now you have to become a leader, and you have to surrender that ego to become a leader and to develop leadership in your organization. When I have my first business, like I shared with you, I was telling everybody what to do, and then when I surrender my ego and I allow my team to, when they came to me, Harry, we have these three problems. I said, okay, choose three solutions. Okay, pick your favorite, try it out, and if it works, well, if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I started to do this with all my team, to the point that they really needed that they didn't need to speak with me anymore. They have a problem. They will come with three solutions. They will choose which one they will try it out. And when they come to Harry, look, we had the problem, and this is how we solve it, like this, blah blah. Where's financial and everything. And little by little, I achieved in my organization that paradigm. And it was magic. It was so magic that one day, like I told you, one day I arrived to the office and they told me, Harry, go home, travel the world if you want. You
Yeah.
come here. And I remember I was telling my manager, but who's going to get you the paper in the photocopy? And she was telling me, Harry, we can get our own paper in the photocopy. Don't worry about it. Just go home. I would go to see you once a month, and I tell you, report the business. It's fine. Let it go. And the first day you feel a little bit like, did I get obsolete in my own business? But then the next day you say, wow, I can't imagine that somehow I create something that have their own life of its own, and
Yeah.
it doesn't need me. So, but Alvin, you didn't sign up to be a leader, to encourage leadership in your organization. You didn't sign up for any of this. You signed up to design clothes. So how this transition happened in your life, and how you realize that, oh my God, I have to, a lot of people ask me all the time, Harry, I want leaders in my organization. I want leaders in my organization. I was telling them, if you want leader organization, you have to become a leader yourself. Because
Correct.
leaders attract leaders. You will never. So when you realize, oh my God, this is, as we scale, it's not only about fashion design anymore. It's not about pants anymore. It's about leadership and develop leadership. So you have this one. You won't end up with this wonderful thing that you have if you were
Yeah.
not a great leader. So tell us about this transition.
So, it's very, it's not necessarily a linear thing, right? I think that a lot of times you have to bring in the leadership from the get-go. You can't wait for the perfect partner to come in and say, oh, I'm going to take the side while you can be creative. You got to start wherever you can start, right? It doesn't matter how scrappy it is. It doesn't matter how,
And we be mistakes on the way. I make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
stole money from my business. If I tell you stories,
No,
horrible,
but it's true.
horrible.
But that's part of business, right? Part of business is going up and down. Like it's not just one place. You have to go up and down. And I feel like a lot of times people sold me the idea that I wasn't a business person. People for many years were like, but you don't understand because you're not a business person. You're a designer. You're a creative.
Oh, you are not my friend. You're a great entrepreneur. You're speaking today like a great entrepreneur.
Thank you. But, I didn't always believe in that, even though I did believe in that because when I first started, I was on my own. I started alone, right? And then at some point, I did get people to join in and partners who joined in who did take that from me and were amazing. But then when they sold, I became used to that, right? To that model, to that business model, having a business partner. When he sold out of the business, then I kind of floundered because I nobody was really paying attention to the business, and I was focusing too much on only the creative. So I think that a lot of times it takes a little bit of time. And I just spoke to somebody else, a friend of mine who's the most successful hairdresser that I know. He does everybody's hair from Eva Longoria. I mean, everyone.
Wow.
Longoria. I mean, everyone that any celebrity you can imagine, Oscar winner, he
Wow.
does their hair. And he works with me. He does all my shows, whatever. And and I was telling him this morning, I'm like, you can't wait for somebody because he was like, but I'm not a businessman. I'm like, yes, you are. You are a businessman. You are not just a hair cutter or a hair colorist. You are a businessman. Once you empower yourself in that and you figure out, let me learn how to do this. Let me learn what is it that I need to know in order for us to have a successful business, and so it was funny because I actually had that conversation with him today. And so, yes, a lot of times we have to empower ourselves to become those leaders, right? In order for us to attract leaders, right? Because the leader doesn't want to be with somebody who's just floundering and whatever,
Leaders attract leaders, yeah.
Exactly. So, and sometimes I'm in a really huge public lawsuit right now with this, these people who, wanted to tell me how to run my business. And I was like, I have to say, I've been in business for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. You have never been in business. You're a housewife that pretending to be a businesswoman. You're a housewife. You can't tell me what I need to do when I don't need to do, And so it takes sometimes, and I'm a huge lawsuit. And listen, I'm not saying to people to get into lawsuits, but I own that. I owned my voice, right? And sometimes that could be costly as well. But it doesn't matter. How would I feel if I would have taken her advice and gone a different way and gone, it would not, I wouldn't be where I'm standing now, So you have to, leadership comes with attacks. It comes with, and people don't sue someone because you're a loser. They sue you because you're successful and they want that.
Absolutely.
So that empowered me even more because I'm like, okay, I'm in this huge lawsuit. It's costing me
Yeah.
But they want something from me that they can't have. And what they can't have is me. At the end of the day, anyone can do what I do, right? But they can't do what I do, how I do it. So it's important.
They will never cope. They're not you.
Exactly. And so, it's difficult because these people want to be you. They want to embody the customers that are coming into my atelier. They want to embody that I'm opening multiple locations. We just opened last week in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
I was looking for a store in Chicago and I'm like, well, Chicago's a good market. We've been testing it a lot. We have a lot of clients there. And I never thought we were going to open in front of Chanel next to Tom Ford.
Oh, wow.
In Chicago.
Amazing location.
And exactly. So, because what's my clientele? My clientele is very high end. She's a high end customer who likes craftsmanship, who likes well-made things. She doesn't want just anything. And so it's important that you understand that you have to be where they can see you, where they feel that you should be at.
Mhm.
And so that's important too. So part of leadership is tying all of those things together, is believing it. It's waiting a lot of times. It's waiting for the right moment, but it's also being able to embody the leadership, right? Even if you have to fake it for a little bit.
Now,
You
how
know?
to how to market? Yeah, you have to believe in yourself. How to market premium products? I mean, this is also on top, a layer on top that have the characteristic from for your business because you see this type of luxury market, premium market. I remember in London, you go to Harrods and you see the purses and don't even have a price, right? Because the people that are gonna buy these purses, they don't have money problem. They will
Yeah,
like it. They will take it because they like it, and whatever is the price is okay, right? And we have a royal family, a lot of celebrity attend this boutique. So, and then I don't know if you buy a luxury car or you want a Rolex or a premium pro. Sometimes on purpose they make you to wait. You cannot have it right away. They say, okay, no, this you're gonna have this luxury car or this Rolls Royce, but you have to wait until
correct.
we do it for you. So, marketing and penetrate the luxury market, the premium market is had their own ecosystem and their own complexity of itself because it's so different of traditional marketing. You were talking me, Harry, I'm not selling a bottle of water or I'm not selling something that is a day-to-day product. It's something very specific for the high-end type of the market. So how, Alvin, you having Cuban heritage, so how come you become so entrepreneurial? There is any entrepreneur in your family in the first place, and how you learn how to penetrate the market? Because obviously, when you started out, you didn't start it expensive. Your pants they were not the price that they have today, and before you couldn't afford your own location, right? So how you move to the scale from the very bottom to the premium product, and if there is anybody in your family, any entrepreneur, any friend, who do you where a TV show from where you get that inspiration to become so entrepreneurial, the first place?
Well, I think also a little bit is culture, right? I think my father has always had his own businesses and
Really?
always, yeah, always
Which
moved from
ones?
one
Which
business.
ones? Which
He's
business?
been in everything. He's had everything from real estate companies,
Oh, he's a hustler like
supermarkets,
me.
to car dealerships, to auto
Really?
parts.
Oh,
Like, my father is
oh
someone that
wow.
moving from one place to another, but it's something that I learned from him. He's very client centric. He
Wow.
loves to be in front of the client, which is what I love to do too. I
Mhm.
mean, I design, but I design alone, or I design with my team, but that's not something that I'm doing in front of customers, right? I'm not doing that in front of clients.
Was your
But I
dad
love
happy when you told him that you're gonna be an entrepreneur, or he was concerned and he want you to rather study in university and
he
find a job?
he was totally happy. I dropped out of college to open my business. I was 21 and
And
I
he
dropped
was
out
rooting for you, right?
of course,
Oh, me
that's the
too.
one
We
thing
are rooting for you here, huh? Big
that's the
time.
one thing that we always like
Wow,
connect.
amazing.
Always connect through business. He's always advising me. Even today, he's like, "Well, you should do this or you should do that." And he doesn't
That's
understand
advice that you
business
should
at
take
all.
because this one knows about business.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's in
This
his
one
80s.
knows.
He's in his 80s and he still won't give up. He's still
Oh
working,
wow, that's very
starting new
impressive.
things. Yeah, he's a real, like, I would say an addicted entrepreneur. He's completely addicted at
So, but
starting.
how he becomes so entrepreneurial? He came from Cuba. You cannot have your
And
own
he's like,
company there.
he's just like
Wow,
he's a
he just reached there and
hardworking.
started to learn
I think it's cultural. It's a cultural thing. I think a lot of people come from
within himself.
backgrounds where, you're entrepreneurial. And I think Cubans are very much like that. I think a lot
There
of
are just
Cubans,
people like you, me, and your dad that we simply cannot work for anybody. We can work
correct.
with people but we
I
cannot
couldn't.
work for people. It's not in our DNA.
Yeah,
It's well, over 500 all the interview guests that we interviewed this podcast, they are the same thing. We have a specific gene. Okay, that's a question, I think. Okay, so now you have within yourself the gene of an entrepreneur. Sometimes it doesn't came because your dad has been an entrepreneur. In this podcast, we have people that have from family, people don't have from family, but you have
yeah.
that gene there. So what happened in your specific moment in your life? What happened that day that you decide to drop to college and start your own business? Do you have any major setback? Do you somebody upset you, or what day, that day that you took the decision? This is it. I'm going in 100%, and this is what I'm gonna do with my life. And what what was
You know, it
the
was.
decision? Maybe when you're a kid, you're thinking, I want to have my business, I want to have this, I want like me, you know.
I did. It didn't come together until I was in college, and right before I decided to drop out, I was working. I was at UM.
That's a big decision to drop out college to start to your own
Yeah.
business.
But
Huge risk.
I didn't like it. It was done. I was an honor roll student from sixth grade all the way till I went to college, right? But I didn't like it anymore. I knew that I couldn't learn anything more than my own instinct needed to know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think if
100%.
you realize you're
You
like,
feel like you're not growing.
you're not. It's something that bugs you. And I was working for another guy. So I was studying architecture, but I was working for a retail store in Coconut Grove for this guy. And I started telling him, like, hey, I'm gonna put some samples together. Do you mind if I put them in your store? And he said, yeah, sure. And so I put them in the store, and they sold out in 1 week.
Oh wow.
And
What
I
was
said to him,
that? What product was this one?
it was these little dummy dresses that I was doing in Miami. And so I literally, they sold out in 1 week. But him,
Wow.
instead of saying like, oh my God, can you make some more, whatever,
You
he was like,
manufacture.
yeah, I don't want anything else. And right then and there, I knew I knew that I was the best salesperson he's ever had in that store, right?
Wow.
B, I knew that the product I was doing, even though it was like a sort of like a beginner's product, right? Because I was just learning how to do things or whatever. I knew that I had an eye for it. So I called a friend of mine and I said, hey, his name is Scott. And I said, Scott, do you want to come over at like 11 o'clock on a Monday? It was like a Monday or Tuesday. And I said, can you want to come over? I have an idea and I want to talk to you. So he shows up at 11 o'clock
Wow.
in the morning to the store. And at 11 o'clock, 11:30, all the girls from the private schools in Coconut Grove with Carlton, Lourdes, and all those girls, instead of having lunch, they would come into the store and shop with me. And
Wow.
in like 1 hour and a half, this is 30 years ago, I sold $5,000. 30
Wow.
years ago.
It's a lot
With
of money for 30 years ago.
15-year-old girls, 15, 16-year-old girls.
Oh
And so
wow.
I said to Scott, like, look, you see what I just did? I want to open my own shop. I want to do my own collection. And all of these girls hate the owner of this business because the guy was crazy. They come for me. I said, and he says, okay, how much do you need? I said, 50,000. And he's the one that started me. He was like, when he
Wow.
saw that right away, he was like, and that's how I started. So it was really, the 50,000 with everything I knew was maybe like $150,000, right? Together. Because I had the knowledge on how to do things and how to, and so, but I wasn't by any far 21. I wasn't like a businessman. I wasn't, I just had a hunch. And I had a feeling, right? And I had a vision.
That you can do it.
And when I opened that store, I opened it right around the corner from this guy, and I had already signed the lease, but I was still working for him. He didn't know anything. I was still working for him. I had signed the lease, and I needed to go to New York for a market. And he was also going to New York for market too. And he had already given me permission to go like 2 weeks ahead, right? And I said to him, and so the Friday comes along, and he says to me, you know what? I know you asked for permission to go, but you can't go. You have to stay working. I'm like, oh, really? And I wasn't going to like argue with him. And so when I was leaving, and he said, well, I'll see you tomorrow, right? And I go like, yeah, tomorrow will be another day. That was my last word. And I left, and I went to the airport. Because I knew I had to start my business.
How
right?
long was this one? 30 years ago?
30 years ago. Yeah.
Oh,
30
wow.
years.
I never look back. Wow, that's
And never looked back. And the
very
guy still has
inspiring
the store
story.
in Coconut. The
There
guy
you
still
go.
has his coconut grove.
And
And he
now
always
you are in the New York Times Magazine. Wow.
yeah.
You see, this is that won't happen to me. You see, something that I have is any talent that goes into my organization, I'll do whatever it takes to keep it. Right. I think
Yeah.
this is what it make a big difference, right? To us as entrepreneurs, we need to identify where is the talent and keep the talent motivated with some people that work in my organization. They are like my friends. You see, the being in the business working with me, my IT director, for example, he did call me yesterday and say, Harry, Christmas is coming. I haven't get my holidays or whatever. Can I have some holidays? I said, of course, get as much holidays you want. I didn't even know that your goal to me, the, I was trying to ask you, what kind of question is this one? If you can take your holiday, of course you can take them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you bring talent to the organization, and you are a
Well,
human, and you really care. If you
going back to
demonstrate you care about your team, right?
yeah. Well, going back to what you were saying about like how do I enter into like
Yeah, premium.
into this higher level, higher luxury sort of market, right?
Because
Which
when
is
you
highly
started
competitive.
having, how much were the dresses there that you were selling there in the
Oh,
first 20
back
years
then they
ago?
were like $300. They were like nothing, $300, $400. They were expensive
Well, it
for
still
a
is high.
15-year-old
Somehow,
girl.
30 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 30 years ago for a 15-year-old girl to buy
Oh,
a $400
factory. It
dress.
was, they were not cheap. Cheap
No, they
one.
were not.
Wow. So
If
you're
you look,
starting from premium.
I started from premium, but
Wow.
what I did was I thought, and this is me being 2021, thinking like, I'm not going to sell to the mothers because the mothers were too sophisticated for me. And I knew
Mm.
where I was at. You know what I'm saying?
You knew
So
where your product is fit for the market. Yeah.
correct. So I knew that the younger girls were going to be more forgiving and the style was going to work more for them because they were going to be more forgiving. And I knew how to create the click. I knew how to bring in the big, like popular rich girls to influence. This is before influencers were even in.
Yeah.
All the other girls, right? I
They
would
also have to
hire.
influence the parents because they don't have the money. Now they need to come back and tell your mom, buy me. I want this money to buy this dress. So now they have to influence the parent.
But the thing is that I influenced the parents as well, the mothers, right? So to the point that I created a system in the store where their credit card was on file. So they didn't even need the mother to come in to pay for it. They don't worry, the mother is on file. So they would come in. And a lot of times, some girls were like, "Oh, my mom's gonna come." They would try it. They're like, "Okay, perfect. My mom will come and pay for it, like in this afternoon or whatever, you know." But that's how I started. Those girls 30 years ago were 15 years old. Those girls are 45 today, and they're still
They
my
keep
clients.
buying. I can tell.
They keep buying. They keep buying, you
Oh,
know. And
wow.
so, and so it's really a heritage. I'm a heritage brand.
Mm-hmm.
30
And it's
years
still,
ago,
wow.
right? It's a heritage brand. So now I have people who can talk about me from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And these are rich women now, you know, these are the
Mm-hmm.
daughters who now I'm dressing their daughters.
Absolutely.
And
It's the
now,
legacy. It's the legacy. And now the daughter.
right,
So I've been, so how you keep, like, for example, let's talk about customer retention. Okay. Because it's very common in the entrepreneurs. Okay. That okay, let's face it, the quality of the product in order for you to sell, even to make your first million, even if you don't have quality product, you can reach to your first million to doing good marketing and good sales.
yeah,
However, to get a retention client is completely different ball game. They will always come back if you have a good product. I have clients that have bought from 20 years, and every time that we do a program or workshop, we gonna say, "Hi, we're launching this new," and they already buying the tickets, and they don't even know the details, but
yeah,
they have been our client for so many years, and they've been in our workshops and all our speaking events that if either we do an award ceremony, a gala in London, or we do a workshop to train entrepreneurs, everything we do, um, when we launch something new or something related, they know they have this loyalty for so many years, right? So the quality of the product is important and be client centric. Like, for example, I mean, as an entrepreneur, we see that a lot of people, they take all the money they have and they use all this money to acquire new clients, to sell whatever they have, and they don't care about the existing client. And
Right.
they always looking for a new client, And like other people like you, for example, they create a good product and make sure that this client stay forever. So what message do you have for entrepreneurs out there? Let's say if I give you $100, how it's a metaphor. If I give you $100, how much money, and you start, how much money you will use to acquire new clients, and how much money you will use to build and nurture and develop relationship with existing clients, so they can not even buy more. Those clients bring you more clients, and then your marketing cost is zero. So
Correct.
so for our entrepreneurs listening, in terms of funding, so they have an idea how important is this part. How would you do it?
So I will tell you that I only focus on my existing clients.
Oh wow, that's really
I
powerful.
only focus, I
Wow,
don't focus on new clients. I only focus
wow.
on the existing clients
And those
because
one bring you new clients, right?
I have clients,
Beautiful. I
they're
love that
super
answer.
clients because not only do they spend money, but then they also bring them by the hand, not like, oh, you should go. No, they make time, they have
Oh
lunch, they call
wow,
their friends and I have lunch and they bring and they call me. They're like, can you be at the store today? I'm bringing 2 clients, whatever. And those are
wow.
super clients, right?
Yeah, they are fans. More than
They're
clients, they are fans. They're fans of the
Yeah,
product.
I used to call them feeders because they feed, right? They feed you the other clients. Like that was like
Wow.
an old word from the 90s, like a feeder, they're like, and so for me, my focus is always that's why they're loyal clients because I
Abby,
focus
but you
on,
need to have a very good product for that. Product
yeah,
has to be
you gotta
spotless.
have, so you have to be consistent, right? That's important. If you have a product that is great, that it's done, that you've designed, that it's produced, you have my factories are doing it well, et cetera, et cetera. You gotta stay consistent. And
And keep it
then,
tight, right?
yes, keep it tight. And then you have to bring in great product because my product has to be better than Hermes if I'm doing leather goods. Because
Wow.
I have to be competitive, even though I'm not charging what Hermes is charging. I'm still making my money. I'm not
No, but you
losing
have
money.
your name, and your name represents quality. Your brands represent
Correct.
high-end quality.
Exactly.
Has to be good.
We destroy inventory when it's not right. Like
Wow.
people are like, I'm like, destroy it because that
Wow.
inventory is
Really?
going to destroy I can't afford to destroy my name. I can
Wow.
destroy inventory, but I can't afford to destroy my
Wow,
name.
that's powerful.
So
Can
you
destroy
have
the
to,
inventory, but you cannot destroy your name. Wow. Everybody
correct.
listen and learn.
Correct, because you have to take pride in the product, and these people are seeing the best product in the world, and I'm throwing my hat in there. So the product has to be incredible. That I don't charge for the cost of my goods. I'm charging on how you feel when you walk out with those goods, and how
100%.
you feel when you wear them. When people stop you and go like, they're in Aspen, and another woman goes up to and says like, are those Alvin Valley jeans you're wearing? Because they can see that there's a insignia on the back pocket that has the logo, but that logo is not a logo for all of the world. That's a code between these women. They can recognize each other. So
Wow.
they know that the brand is small enough that if they're wearing Alvin Valley, they probably know me. So I become a
Mm.
part of the conversation in their lifestyle, right? Because at Hermes, they don't know Mr. Hermes. They know the salesperson,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They know like at Hermes, you might, oh, who's your salesperson, your sales associate, your SA is what they call it, but they don't know that Mr. Hermes, who is that? I don't know who Mr. Hermes is. Like, do you know what he looks like? Nobody does.
Mm-hmm.
But when they see the gene, like, they'll text me like, oh my God, there's a gorgeous woman in front of me. I'm in
Wearing your
Aspen at the
clothes.
bar, and she's wearing your jeans. I'm like, go and say hi, introduce yourself. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
more
Like
like a community, right? They create the
the
community.
community.
Wow.
And that's what I'm creating. That's why my stores
Very
are in
good.
the Hamptons. They're in Palm Beach. Now we're going into bigger markets, Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, right? But you start with a foundation of people who will become your global community. So the
Mm-hmm.
global community means
Mm-hmm.
it's people that you're selling to, but they're moving around the world and they're spreading the
And they are your
brand.
ambassadors of the brand.
Correct. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by I focus only on my existing clients. And sometimes, we sell online as well. And it's funny because I'll look online and people that have never met me, and I'll just pick on, I'm like, I've seen that name before. Like I see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I click on
Mm-hmm.
them and they'll say 17 orders, 27 orders,
Wow.
7 orders. And these people don't even know me and they keep coming and buying more and more and more. So I think that you have to, for me, it's about focusing on my existing clients so they feel hyper special and then they become right the veins into the arms of the brand because they
Wow.
pull in other people.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
what I
wow, I
focus.
mean, that's really, really inspiring. And the people there, they're proud to wear the clothes. They have
They're
that
they're super
feeling.
proud. They're
Yeah.
super proud. They send me
Wow.
pictures of the night, like,
Congratulations.
look what I'm wearing tonight. Look what
Wow.
head to toe every day, every night. There's a client that's sending me a picture, no matter whether they could be in. So that's loyalty,
Yeah.
right? You gotta
Loyalty
work
well defined.
hard.
That's a life work of
Right.
loyalty. Even in this podcast, we have interviewed lawyers and we said, I'm asking how you find your clients, and they tell him, well, Harry, they only come for reference, so the client bring them. And I always tell those lawyers, what the only thing that I can tell to you is that you have an amazing product. Your product
Yeah.
is awesome because this is the only way that this business has been sustained for so many years. I can tell you something for sure. Your product have an exceptional quality, and you do care about your clients. When you care really about your clients, when you not fake care, but actually real care,
Yeah.
and you care about them, that loyalty stays, and they will be proud, and they are happy and proud to work your brand. So Alvin, if somebody want to wear your jeans, right? Or, or find the photos of people wearing your clothes, how people can find you, how this process work, and can you share how they
Yeah.
can?
Absolutely. We're obviously online at alvinvalley.com. You can see everything that we do there. We also, in our stores, I create collections that are just for the store, that are
Wow,
not online.
just for the
So
store. Wow,
yeah, so if you
amazing
come to the store, then you get the full effect, right? You get the
experience.
full experience because we do a lot of made to measure things. I can do a lot
Wow,
of customization. Everything in the store you can customize. You can take a pair of shoes and say, I'm wearing a green pair of pants and I want the shoes to be exactly this green. Or, so we can, the greatest thing is that I can customize everything in my store. That's nothing that no one can do. You can't do that at Hermes. You
mm,
can't do that at, you know,
wow,
Lauren, you can't order something from scratch and say, like, I want this shoe or I want this handbag. I want it exactly this color. We can customize that. And that's an experience that we all
really?
do
Wow,
in the
that's very
store.
impressive.
And we do it, and it takes like 30 days. So we are very quick at it. And that one thing that we do, that we don't even make money on that. We make money on everything else. That experience that they're going to have with me makes them buy everything else. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So that's where really our marketing sort of like kind of comes from. It's about having that experience where women who can have anything in the world can come to me and we can do anything for them. So that little thing is something that we can do. We do all the tailoring gets done here. You don't have to go anywhere else. Even if you're buying a pair of jeans, you can buy them online, you can buy anywhere. We'll do the tailoring for you. And
mm.
so we have stores now. We are stores in the Hamptons, in Southampton, New York. We are in Palm Beach, and we are in Chicago now. We just did a pop-up shop in London, in Paris, and we are opening in Dallas, New York, and Los Angeles. And might do a
Wow.
pop-up in Aspen. But yeah, so that's
Try in
where we're.
London when you definitely in London and in Miami when you're ready for it. Let me know. This is
Yeah, no, we're we are already have found spaces in London. So we're trying to figure that out, but we have so much
I
going
hang
on.
around a lot with that community over there
Yeah.
in the fashion design community, or in London.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
the Fashion Week. I'm sure you're well aware, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of personal friends in that space, and I love to go to the fashion show, and it's an exciting week always in London, the fashion show, where you have
Yeah.
like events every
Every day
single
doing Fashion
day.
Week. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that you're brilliant, and I think that you still got it. Yeah, you've been in business um 30 years, and you don't think so. That's last question very briefly. So I've been why you don't retire? You should be in Miami in the beach drinking a mojito. You're ready. You don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore. We don't have to.
Re, re,
So so
re,
why you keep
retiring.
working? Why you want to keep opening shops? Why?
Yes, as my father says, who's in his 80s, is retiring would be death for me.
So no mojitos in
No.
Miami Beach from Alvin Valley long time. No,
I,
keep
you know,
working.
I have a house in Palm Beach, and literally I don't even jump in the pool. I don't even have time for it.
Wow,
So it's like,
wow.
it's one of my favorite places in the world, but it's fortunately or unfortunately, my work is my passion. And like you
I
said,
can tell.
I'm always passionate about it. And I want to be in front of people, and I want to see them, and I want to see what they try and what they're wearing and what and not only that, but you got to remember that what they're bringing into the store, whatever they're taking, they're still giving me something, because I am studying them. I'm constantly studying them. And that's what comes
You
into
do
the
it for
product.
them. You're
Yes.
not doing it
So
for
like,
you. You do. I can
correct.
tell you're doing it for
So
them. So they're
they
very
come back and
important.
they bring me the idea. So that's why when they
Mhm.
come to the store, they don't walk out with one thing. They walk out with 12 things, because
Mhm.
everything has been designed for them,
For
right?
them,
It's not
100%.
like I'm designing in a White
Mhm.
Tower. I don't see anyone, and I'm just being
Mhm.
creative, designing crazy stuff, right? And then people just buy one thing or two. When you come into my store, people like literally they'll see 3 jackets and like, oh my God, I can't decide. I have to take them all three. They see 3 dresses. Oh my God, I have to take them all three, And so that's an experience, because they really they embody the brand, right?
Mhm.
So, and the reason is that I'm in front of them. They're in front of me. So I'm always
Mhm.
stealing ideas. I'm always inspired directly by them.
Mhm.
I'm not thinking of Lady Gaga and what she's gonna wear, right? Because if
And
I
this,
make something for Lady Gaga and I
you
put it in my
think
store,
into your
no one's
clients,
gonna buy,
and exactly. So,
you
and
know.
I think that this, what to sum up the interview and what it translates for everyone is that if you care about your clients, and you focus in make them happen, and you doing your product for them, not for you, not to feed your ego, not to see that you're the big Alvin Valley and a big deal because I'm in New York Magazine and I'm famous, everybody know me. But if you drop that ego, you really focus in save your clients and see what they want, what they love about the brand, and being 100% focused on them. It's not about you, it's about them. That's why you're so successful, my friend, and have so much glory coming to you. I can tell this because the way you talk, you're still going to places because you're very passionate about what you do, and you clearly love it, and you care about your clients. So thank you so much. And
Thank you.
for all our listeners, if you can listen this broadcast twice, if you can actually digest what, and we're not talking about fashion design, listen carefully. If you can absorb and digest what Alvin Valley, great entrepreneur in front of us today, have shared, can definitely make your life as an entrepreneur for sure. And if you wear those jeans, you will have it embedded in your body with you. You can have a piece of him working with you all the time. So thank you so much, Alvin, and following the broadcast in our next episode of Unstoppable. How brave entrepreneur like Alvin break the wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs, that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.